Today we're going to go through some items that are insanely hard to get your hands on in the game, so difficult that probably very little amount of number of people watch. I could have said this so much better. So I mean, it's probably so difficult that a very few amount of you guys listening to this will actually have them. If you do have it though, let me know in the comments, or if you're currently working on getting them, then let me know about that too, and let's go. So the first one on this list is something that I guarantee not that many players actually have their hands on, and there's also two versions of it, and the third version that even less players are going to have as well. We're starting off with the Duelist Cap and the Wildstalker helmet. The Wildstalker helmet is the first one we'll talk about. This is a helmet that you'll get from Mr. X in Edgeville. What it does is when you kill someone in PvP, only in the wilderness, you will actually get an extra kill count on this helmet. And as you level it up, as you get more kills, it will level up into a different tier. This goes from tier 1 all the way to tier 6, and the amount of kills you need to get the next tier each time increases a ton. So we're specifically focusing on the tier 6 version of this and of the Duelist Cap. The tier 6 version of this is going to require you to have over 5,000 PvP kills inside the wilderness. To get the tier 6 Wildstalker helmet, you're going to have to do a crap ton of kills. Now, yes, you could just farm ults in the wilderness to do this, but 5,000 kills is still going to take a crap ton of time, and I guarantee that a lot of people still do not have this. Maybe you guys have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, maybe tier 4, but the amount of people with tier 6, I don't think I've ever seen one of these in game personally, actually. Maybe there has been some running around and I've just not noticed it, but it's definitely not something you see very often. If you guys have one, let me know in the comments. The next one though is the Duelist Cap. This one goes up to tier 6 as well, and the way this works is it has two versions in the game. There's the antique version and then just the regular one, which you can get now. The antique version is even more rare as it is no longer obtainable. This is only if you had this before the duel arena was removed, because to get this you had to have had 5,000 duel wins to be able to unlock this version. Now, the current one in the game is exactly the same. It looks identical to the other one. It just has a different name. I suppose this is just so you can show that you have the different version. You got it before rather than after. But either way, both of these look insanely cool. I would love to have either of them, but let's be honest, this is a crap ton of work, and I'm probably never going to get to that point, seeing as PvP is pretty dead. It's not really a thing you do anymore. The next super rare items are something you can just buy off the Grand Exchange, however, are definitely not cheap to get your hands on, and definitely things that a ton of players do not have. But also, getting these the actual, in-game way and not buying them from other players is insanely rare to get. And these are the hero items in the game. Now, most people are going to know what these are, of course, but they're worth talking about on a video like this, because the hero items, the Hazelmare's Signet Ring, the Orlando Smith's Hat, Tavia's Fishing Rod, and the Guildmaster Tony's Mattock are insanely rare to get your hands on. The Signet Ring you can get from the rare drop table. You have to have tier 4 luck available, and it's definitely something that a lot of people do look forward to getting one day, maybe, possibly, probably not though, whenever they're like AFK skilling, possibly with a Grace of the Elves and the Look of the Dwarves, or maybe you're doing anything that gives you access to the rare drop table and you have your Look of the Dwarves on as well. However, chances are, even if you do play very often, you're probably never going to see one of these drop, and if you do, damn, you're a very lucky person. Then you have the Orlando Smith hat, which you can get from Master Reward Caskets. This is a 1 in 105,840 drop. It's pretty common, as you go, what the frick, that is so damn rare. This is another thing that you're gonna very rarely actually have a chance of getting in your life. You get to 105,000 master clues to be able to have the chance, on average, it rolling for these once is pretty damn crazy. Now, you can also get one of these from a magical dice, the tier 5 versions, but again, insanely rare. The Tavia's Fishing Rod is another hero item that is insanely good. It's actually a combination of all of the fishing rods in the game, but it also increases the success rate of fishing by 10% as well. Now, the way that you get these without buying them from other players is when you get a rare red Uncharted Island map from the Deep Sea Fishing Hub, or if you get one from buying an Uncharted Island map from the Traveling Merchant Shop, you also have a super rare chance of that being a red map as well. Now, when you get this, you can actually use the map to get to Tavia's Island, where you'll be able to get the rod. And then finally, we have the Guildmaster Tony's Mattock. Now, you get this if you get a shadowy key, which is a reward that you can have from using a Tetra Compass. Tetra Compasses are what you get from doing archaeology, of course, and these are a 1 in 10,000 1000 drop rate. To get yourself a shadowy key, 1 in 10,000 Tetra compasses is going to be the sort of goal that you're looking at. So yeah, there's a reason that these hero items are so damn expensive. They also have really good effects as well though, so they are useful tools. If you've ever had one of these or multiple of these, let me know in the comments, because I actually wonder how many of you guys have had multiple. Has anyone ever had all of them? The next item I'm going to talk about isn't anything overly exciting and special and rare, but it is something that is not going to be all that common, especially these days. Many players probably don't have these, or if they do, they're just sat collecting dust in their bank. And newer players just probably will never bother getting them in the first place. That is the Adrenaline Urn. The Adrenaline Urn is something that used to be super useful and I would take with me everywhere because it would store up to 1000% adrenaline that you could gain from either using the crystal or doing any sort of combat. Now, the way this worked is you would be able to leave it in your inventory, and when you went out of combat, it would take the adrenaline from the urn rather than from your character, meaning you didn't have to stall your actual adrenaline. And this was basically what we have now from the Zamorakian Undercity box. Or if you don't have that, you can use like Anticipate or Freedom before you drop combat to stay in combat. That way you don't lose your adrenaline. Now, to get this, now you'll have to go and kill Calgarian demons. These are around a 1 in 1024 drop, making them not the easiest thing to get your hands on. But there's not really a whole lot of use to get them anymore. You used to be able to get these from opening Corrupted Energy in a 2018 Halloween event. That's how I got mine actually, so I guess if people did that event, then maybe you guys would have one there. But yeah, the Adrenaline Urn, probably not going to hear too much about this anymore because there's not a massive need for it, but still an interesting item all the same. Sorry to interrupt you guys as always, but if you haven't clicked the sub button yet, it does help out the channel a ton, and over 65% of you guys that are watching the videos right now actually are not subbed to the channel. So even if you think that you are, go and check that you actually are. And if you are new around here, please do give it a click. It helps the channel out a ton, and also you just keep getting all the videos. Moving on, we have a cape that will set you back around about 2 billion to 2.5 billion GP if you were to trade it from another player, or a crap ton of time and hours if you wanted to get it yourself. We're going to be talking about the Abomination Cape. Yep, this is a cape that is pretty much just a cosmetic at this point because its stats don't compete with any of the newer capes in the game. But this thing is insanely rare, and that is why it holds its price point so damn much. This is a cape that you get from defeating the Abomination after you've completed the Hero's Welcome quest. You can go back and fight the Abomination. It is not an overly hard fight at all, but to get one of these capes, yeah, you're looking at around about 1 in 11,500 kills, slightly less if you have tier 3 luck or higher, being 11,122. This drop rate alone makes this one of the rarest items in the game. I'm actually surprised that this thing isn't more expensive than it actually is, because I mean, I get that there's not a massive demand for it probably, but the fact that it's so damn rare, I would have expected this to be a little bit more expensive than it actually is. But have any of you guys ever had, there's no way anyone watching this has actually grabbed themselves an Abomination cape. Surely not. I mean, has anyone ever had two? Another item that not too many players would have heard of because of its rarity, and also because a lot of people don't really engage with this content anymore, is the tongue cape that you get from the Giant Mimic. This is a rare drop that you can get from killing the hard and the elite versions of the Giant Mimic, but even then it is still a 1 in 2,000 drop rate. I mean, I don't really know many people who have done more Mimic than I have, personally anyway, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who have, but even I haven't done that many Mimics to the point where, you know, I would be expecting to see one of these anytime soon. As for the value of this, it sits around about 100 million GP, or it has done for the longest time. Apparently someone sold one recently for 500k, but that's why you kind of got to just take Ellie's prices for a little bit of a grain of salt. Like, you don't look on here, see the 500k, and then decide, hey, I'm going to sell mine for 500k then, because every other price is over 100 million GP. So, you know, you still got to take these prices with a little bit of common sense. And then finally in this video, of course, this video wouldn't have been able to be finished off without mentioning the party hats in RuneScape 3. Party hats in RuneScape have been something of a bit of a legend, things that people have wanted to chase for the longest time, the biggest form of achievement due to their wealth. Well, how can you get your hands on a party hat? These days, you can only get them by trading, and they are not cheap at all. In fact, the most expensive party hat right now is over 90 billion GP, this being the blue one, then being followed by the other ones as well. Now, what I personally find the most interesting about the most expensive items in the game isn't just because, you know, they're a paper hat and they're so expensive. It's because these were completely free and worthless when they first released. And that's because they first came into the game through a Christmas event in 2001. Basically, you could just pick up Christmas crackers and then you could use them on other players, and then one of you would get a party hat and other players would get random items like bits of food and stuff that you would probably just throw away now. People would quite literally just throw these away or give them to their friends or get rid of them in any way whatsoever, and they didn't hold any value. But because these became one of the very few tradable discontinued items that you can actually get, and you can wear them as well, so they're a wearable rare item, they became insanely sought after. There is not that many of them in the game left, and you can actually still wear them, equip them to show off your wealth and the fact that you have this item, and they are never going to be available in the game again, at least not these forms. Of course, we've had the golden party hat and the black party hat come to the game too, but these are not going to be anywhere near as in value as the other ones are. That being said though, the black party hat has actually gained quite a bit of value. It is sitting at around about 14 billion GP right now, which is pretty crazy considering we can assume that this will be released every Christmas. It's definitely still rare, of course, but it just shows the demand for party hats. And I mean, black's a very easy color to mix with like cosmetic overrides and stuff as well, but 14 billion GP for something that is definitely going to get re-released shows how much party hats are sought after, and people will settle for things like this. And that is just some of the super rare and hard to get items in RuneScape. Hopefully you guys found this video interesting. If you did, please do leave a like, sub to the channel if you are new, and if you can think of any more that I should include in the part 2, let me know in the comments and I'll take your screenshots and include you guys in the video too. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.